marble sits beside my coffee cup. It rolls 2 inches when the floor shakes from the train. I stare right through the faded green and catch my breath, remembering an alleyway that smelled of afternoon rain. We had 3 weeks before the final bell would ring. No grand promises, just golden dust suspended in the air. Nobody talked about the towns we'd seek in June. We only watched the shadows stretch across the tile, and for a second time forgot to keep its count when you turned around and gave that quiet smile. There was an afternoon we walked down by the creek, soaking our worn-out sneakers in the shallow cold. There was a summer where the days felt 3 miles wide, and nobody was worried about growing old. It isn't about the feeling that got lost along the line, just knowing that a moment like that truly once was mine. This old cafe still keeps its faded vinyl booths. The window glass is fogged up from the kettle steam. I trace the outline of a watermark on wood, like looking at a snapshot in a moving stream. You leaned your shoulders out the rusted wagon glass, laughing at the highway wind that tangled up your hair. Nobody talked about the towns we'd seek in June. We only watched the shadows stretch across the tile, and for a second time forgot to keep its count when you turned around and gave that quiet smile. There was an afternoon we walked down by the creek, soaking our worn-out sneakers in the shallow cold. There was a summer where the days felt 3 miles wide, and nobody was worried about growing old. It isn't about the feeling that got lost along the line, just knowing that a moment like that truly once was mine. The bus stop at the corner hasn't moved its bench. The yellow paint is peeling off in tiny strips. We stood beneath the tin roof while the sky turned gray, unaware of how fast 7 years could slip. We held hands without asking what it meant to stay. We just existed in the middle of the day. The glass marble rests against the porcelain rim. The shadows stretch long outside the window pane. There was a time when everything was still and soft. There was a street, there was a smile, there was the rain. The smell of rain-soaked pine needles filled the narrow lane. 2 sets of worn sneakers splashed through the drain. She pulled her damp sweater tight against the mountain breeze, while he balanced 2 warm glass bottles on his knees. The last summer before graduation moved too fast. Neither talked about the month that had just passed. They didn't promise anything the future couldn't keep. Just watch the valley river run wide and deep. There was an afternoon they shared a blue umbrella frame, laughing at the sudden storm until the bus route came. Her fingers touched his wrist, a simple shift of weight. Before the autumn wind closed every schoolyard gate, it wasn't meant to linger as the years rolled on. Just a quiet moment before the light was gone. Inside the corner cafe with the faded velvet seats, they sat away from everyone who walked the coastal streets. He drew a crooked circle on the glass where mist was thick. She laughed until her coffee spoon began to click. Outside the rusted stop, the evening bus was late, so they turned their heads together toward the misty strait. No tearful words were spoken in the seaside air, just 2 people sitting with no burden left to bear. There was an afternoon they shared a blue umbrella frame, laughing at the sudden storm until the bus route came. Her fingers touched his wrist, a simple shift of weight. Before the autumn wind closed every schoolyard gate, it wasn't meant to linger as the years rolled on. Just a quiet moment before the light was gone. No heavy heart lingering inside the present day, just the picture of a hillside where the shadows play. Not the sadness of an ending nor a broken vow, only knowing that it happened once. Somehow the way she turned her shoulder in the amber sunset glare, 2 shadows standing idle on the concrete stair. The bus hummed down the pavement through the valley trees. They stepped into the aisle with effortless ease. A afternoon in July, clear and unrefined, leaving just a gentle smile behind. Does a shadow keep its shape after the street lamp dies? My thumbs are stained with cheap cherry soda syrup, sticky on the denim. Tap water running over creek stones, cool enough to make your teeth ache. Graduation flyers crumpled in the backseat floorboard. You turned your head toward the open window, wind blowing your hair straight back into my face, and nobody said a single word about September. The yellow sign outside the old bakery flickered 3 times. We were just sitting there on the hood, your thumb resting against my knuckles, warm like asphalt at 7 p.m. Nothing to prove, nowhere to run. There was an afternoon like that once, the humidity hanging heavy on the peach trees, car idling by the curb, your mouth curved up at the corners for no reason at all. Not asking where we were going, not asking if it lasts, just a shoulder pressed against a rolled down window, laugh until our ribs hurt under the orange sky. Wet sandals kicking against the wooden bridge, rain coming down sideways at the bus stop, green paint peeling off the bench onto our wet socks. A silver radio playing something old through cracked speakers. You adjusted the mirror to see my reflection instead of the traffic behind us. We drank lukewarm iced tea out of plastic cups with broken lids. I still hear the exact sound of your sneakers scraping the gravel in the alley behind the diner. There was an afternoon like that once, the humidity hanging heavy on the peach trees, car idling by the curb. Your mouth curved up at the corners for no reason at all. Not asking where we were going, not asking if it lasts. Just a shoulder pressed against a rolled down window, laughing till our ribs hurt under the orange sky. Did the rain hit the windshield before or after we turned off the engine? Memory bends like soft plastic left in a hot trunk. It doesn't matter who spoke first or where the road ended. It's just the side of your hair caught in the seatbelt strap. It's just two people leaning over a creek bed, trying to catch water striders with bare palms. Your hand resting inside my coat pocket, a green traffic light reflecting off wet pavement. We walked so slow, the street lights turned on one by one above our heads. That was all it ever was, just a moment that was real, just a Tuesday afternoon. Heavy wooden chair holds your 19-year-old posture, right beside the desk where the exam papers stack. I am writing from the future just to tell you not to hurry, about the way the summer never quite comes back. You are staring at the clock while the fan spins slow, waiting for the afternoon to tear the day apart. You don't need a grand revelation or a promise framed in gold. Just look out across the pavement before the evening air turns cold. There was a minute where you leaned out the car frame, glass rolled down, catching wind in your hair. Two pairs of sneakers walking down a narrow alley, not a single heavy sentence in the air. You don't have to save it forever, just know that the light was really there. Later at the bus stop, when the sky breaks open and the blue plastic seats are slick with rain, you will share an umbrella with a torn metal wire, with nothing left to prove and nothing to explain. Remember how the valley creek was freezing on your skin, the last afternoon before graduation moved to town. You don't need to hold it together or wonder who will stay. Just notice how the sunset hits the dashboard at the closing of the day. There was a minute where you leaned out the car frame, glass rolled down, catching wind in your hair. Two pairs of sneakers walking down a narrow alley, not a single heavy sentence in the air. have to save it forever. Just know that the light was really there. Dear younger self, don't search for dramatic endings. Don't try to prove that it was love or something deep. It was just two people laughing through a dusty window, and a pair of soggy sneakers left to dry and sleep. It happened. It was simple. It was real. The chair carries your weight for one last minute. The sun sinks slow along the avenue. There was an afternoon when you were happy, and that is enough for you. Apricot glare brushed against your sleeve. You asked me if the rain had stopped outside. I looked down at my phone screen, tried to answer, and found the photograph I used to hide. It was a valley creek from 6 years back, water running fast through mossy stone, two people laughing through a truck window before we ever learned to walk alone. You shifted on the plastic waiting bench and said it looked like somewhere from a dream. I told you no, it really used to happen. The world was once that vivid and serene. There was a summer when the afternoons held still, walking down narrow alleys without a clock to fill. Hands tangled loosely in a faded cotton coat, passing a paper cup with scribbled notes we wrote. It isn't that I'm longing to return today, just telling a stranger how the sunlight used to stay. Copper rays dipped underneath the roof. You laughed and said you had a picture too, an old cafe beside a train line track where someone turned around and looked at you. We sat there trading pieces of our past, not grieving what was lost, just glad it was. Graduation caps dumped in the trunk, and quiet smiles that needed no because. The automatic doors swung open wide, a breeze came in with damp asphalt and pine. You checked your watch and gathered up your coat and took a quiet second to align. There was a summer when the afternoons held still, walking down narrow alleys without a clock to fill. Hands tangled loosely in a faded cotton coat, passing a paper cup with scribbled notes we wrote. It isn't that I'm longing to return today, just telling a stranger how the sunlight used to stay. We do not need to know each other's names to know how heavy orange dust could feel when riding home on damp suburban buses made every simple shadow feel so real. The way a shoulder leaned against the glass, a shared umbrella tilting toward the street, proof that those ordinary hours passed and made the air between two strangers sweet. Apricot glare turns into evening gray. You nod goodbye and head out in the storm. It's nice to know we both remember when a simple afternoon could be so warm. just a scene from yesterday. A simple afternoon. You said yesterday the quiet places always smell like old paper, the yellow wallpaper peeling at the edge of the corner booth. A half-filled glass of tap water sweating on a laminated menu, your thumb tracing the faded print on a souvenir postcard. Two mismatched spoons sitting inside a heavy ceramic bowl, the slow turn of the ceiling fan pushing lukewarm air across the floor. Nobody was making promises about tomorrow. We were just occupying 3 square feet of shade. The battery-powered clock behind the counter missed every 5th tick, and neither of us cared at all. There were afternoons built entirely out of moments like that, just 2 pairs of sneakers scuffing against the blue linoleum tiles. A sudden shared smile over a melting glass of iced coffee. Not a grand story, not a desperate declaration, just the quiet proof that we were standing right there once. A ginger stray sleeping on the warm hood of a parked car outside, the translucent plastic hair clips slipping from your ponytail, condensed drops trickling down the glass pane in jagged lines, a faint bus announcement coming from the terminal 2 blocks away. Your left shoe untied while you tapped your heel against the metal leg. Nobody was asking how the summer was going to turn out. We were just counting the light pulses on the traffic signal. The evening reached in and settled right along your shoulder, and neither of us moved a muscle. There were afternoons built entirely out of moments like that, just 2 pairs of sneakers scuffing against the blue linoleum tiles. A sudden shared smile over a melting glass of iced coffee. Not a grand story, not a desperate declaration, just the quiet proof that we were standing right there once. Years down the road, the diner gets replaced by something bright and clean. The bus line changes its route to cut around the eastern hill. It does not matter where the years took either of our names. The inventory stays completely intact in the dark. The way you looked up through your bangs when the bell rang at the door, the way the afternoon leaned so heavily against the glass. You said yesterday that quiet places always smell like old paper. The tabletop was sticky near the salt shaker. The fan kept turning over our heads. We were simply sitting there, right in the middle of it all. Frayed cotton threads rubbed soft against my wrist from a sun-bleached sleeve we left out on the line. You pulled the collar tight against the mist and stepped into the alleyway behind. We walked between the brick walls growing cool when the summer term was ending in a week. Two backpacks slung together near the school, just heading down to sit beside the creek. It isn't about where the road led after, or who stayed behind when the colors burned. It's just the exact cadence of your laughter, and how the quiet light was never earned. There was a moment on the water rocks where cold stream spray hit both our bare knees. We didn't look at wristwatches or clocks, just leaned our shoulder blades into the breeze. You turned around and gave that simple grin. No promises attached to what was there. A world that held us gently from within. Two wet sneakers suspended in the air. Coarse linen shorts dried out against the stone. You pointed at a cloud shaped like a frame. We shared an iced green tea we bought alone at that old coffee shop without a name. Your thumb caught on my knuckle for a beat, not holding tight, just resting on my skin. The car rolled by and kicked up summer heat, and we just watched the afternoon begin. It isn't about where the road led after, or who stayed behind when the colors burned. It's just the exact cadence of your laughter, and how the quiet light was never earned. There was a moment on the water rocks where cold stream spray hit both our bare knees. We didn't look at wristwatches or clocks, just leaned our shoulder blades into the breeze. You turned around and gave that simple grin. No promises attached to what was there. A world that held us gently from within. Two wet sneakers suspended in the air. Flashback to the window of the bus. Fog on the glass where your shoulder pressed. Nothing was urgent, nothing required us to figure out the answers or the rest. It simply happened once upon a day. We existed right there in the gray. Frayed cotton threads, sun bleached and slow. That was an afternoon we used to know. No heavy words, no reason to stay, just a scene from yesterday. Four 48 blinks on the bedside clock, casting a sign line across the wall. I load the archive file from 10 years back, watching the low-res memory fall. There is a narrow alley past the local tracks where two kids walked without a care. Your shoulder bumping mine every 7 steps, off from the valley stream caught in our hair. We were not measuring where we would land, just sharing an iced tea held in one hand. No grand dramatic speeches in the light, just bare ankles dipping in the creek till night. Look at the way you smiled back then, turn the projection around again. A silver afternoon, down by the water's edge, leaning over the mossy ledge. It isn't about the heartbreak or the end, it's just the simple proof that time was ours to spend, where the car window rolled all the way down, and two people laughed at the edge of the town. In the render, the old corner cafe sign glows pale against wet window glass. We sat near the door with our damp coats piled, watching the green city buses pass. You traced a small circle in the fogged up pane, then wiped it away with your sleeve before graduation came to take it all away, when neither of us had to leave. We were not asking how long it would stay, or counting the miles that would pull us away. Just hands tucked together in a pocket deep, a quiet frame the future gets to keep. Look at the way you smiled back then, turn the projection around again. A silver afternoon, down by the water's edge, leaning over the mossy ledge. It isn't about the heartbreak or the end, it's just the simple proof that time was ours to spend, where the car window rolled all the way down, and two people laughed at the edge of the town. In 35, when all the streets are sleek and cold, someone will wonder how we lived before the world grew old. I'll show them this snippet from a low-lit lane, your profile glowing through the summer rain, not to prove I loved you, but to let them see that once there was a moment made like this for me. 4:49 on the clock face now, the visual fades into the dark somehow. Just two silhouettes walking up the street, in a quiet yesterday where two smiles meet. Faded blue napkin rests right here beside my cold drink. It still carries the faint ring of condensation from an hour ago. I watch you stray, droplets slowly roll down the glass, and suddenly I am standing in that quiet alley before graduation. The air smelled like wet asphalt and blooming lime trees, and your canvas shoes were kicking small white pebbles toward the curb. It is not that I am asking for those years to turn around, it is just that my chest remembers how light the world felt then. We walked with our shoulders barely touching, smiling at nothing at all, as the streetlights hummed to life. There was an afternoon when the street ran cold and clear, and you turned your head just as the sun broke through the trees. You laughed behind the glass of an open car window, and your fingers brushed mine without a single word. We were just two kids running out of summertime, living in a scene that never needed to last forever to be real. I trace the worn edge of the table in this old cafe. The speaker overhead plays a low ambient loop from a decade past. I remember how we sat in this exact corner back in late July, sharing one iced coffee while the rain rattled on the tin roof. You leaned your chin on your wrist and just looked at me, a quiet smile curving your lips before you looked out at the street. It is not about wanting to go back and rewrite the end. It is about knowing that those gentle hours really happened once. We stood together under that navy umbrella, watching the yellow bus splash through the puddles at the stop. There was an afternoon when the stream ran cold and clear, and you turned your head just as the sun broke through the trees. You laughed behind the glass of an open car window, and your fingers brushed mine without a single word. We were just two kids running out of summertime, living in a scene that never needed to last forever to be real. Now the modern years roll on with fast trains and quiet screen glow. My phone lights up on the table, updating the hour, but in my mind your back is still turned toward the orange horizon, walking ahead of me up those narrow stone steps, turning around for 1 second just to make sure I was following behind. A small scene saved in the quiet part of my memory. No big promises, no heartbreak, just the way you smiled. The rain stopped a long time ago. The alleyway is far away now. That was the afternoon we had. Damp mint crushed under rubber soles fill the narrow lane between the brick houses. Two backpacks leaned against the rusty drain pipe while they shared a single peach juice. She kicked a loose pebble down the concrete slope. He caught her eye and bit his lip before she spoke. No one was talking about August ending soon. No one was counting down the quiet afternoon. They just walked slow enough to make the shadows stay. Two pairs of sneakers finding the exact same way. And the world was just that corner cafe booth, the reflection in the glass showing quiet youth. She turned her head and smiled for no reason at all. He reached out his hand before the yellow leaves could fall. It was never about where they would go from there, just the way the sunlight caught her summer hair. Down at the valley creek where the current ran shallow and cool, they rolled their jeans up past the ankles after school. He held her wrist to balance on the slippery stone. Neither of them noticed how the evening light had grown. An old sedan rolled by with the window halfway down, and they leaned out laughing at the edges of the town. No one was asking where the highway leads tonight. No one was turning on the dashboard light. They just stayed present in the humidity and salt. A perfect moment brought to a gentle halt. And the world was just that corner cafe booth, the reflection in the glass showing quiet youth. She turned her head and smiled for no reason at all. He reached out his hand before the yellow leaves could fall. It was never about where they would go from there, just the way the sunlight caught her summer hair. Years later, the alleyway smells the same in June. The rainy bus stop shelters the quiet afternoon. Nothing was broken, nothing was lost to see. It is simply enough to know those two used to be walking side by side along the narrow street. water meet. She smiled at him, he smiled right back. A single frame in time that never faded out to black. This dark oak chair presses its way straight through the linoleum floor. I'm riding back to you, sitting right there beside the open screen door. You're 18 years old, worried about where the road goes next month. Staring at the ice melting slow inside a sour soda punch. Don't shift your posture yet, don't try to read the future on the wall. Just look across the small round table before the shadows get tall. You think this afternoon is just another Tuesday passing by, another dusty alleyway beneath a humid mid-July. But pay attention now, record the sound of her breath on the glass, because these quiet, ordinary minutes never double back or pass. Remember there was a time you walked those concrete stairs, holding a cold glass bottle with no heavy burdens or cares. The way she turned her head and smiled for no reason at all, the way two shadows stretched out long against the alley wall. You don't need to hold on forever or try to make it stay. Just know that once upon a time your life felt exactly this way. Later tonight you'll sit by the creek where the cold water flows, bare feet hanging over the ledge where the damp moss grows. Her hand will brush your knuckles while the orange light fades out, and for 5 whole minutes you won't feel a single trace of doubt. You'll lean out the passenger window on the drive back home, laughing into the wind, knowing you aren't alone. You think these afternoons are cheap, you think there's endless time ahead before the graduation caps and all the words that went unsaid. So look into her eyes right now before the street light flickers on. Store this quiet ease inside before the simple years are gone. Remember there was a time you walked those concrete stairs, holding a cold glass bottle with no heavy burdens or cares. The way she turned her head and smiled for no reason at all, the way two shadows stretched out long against the alley wall. You don't need to hold on forever or try to make it stay. Just know that once upon a time your life felt exactly this way. It isn't about heartbreak and it isn't about regret. It's just proof that magic happened in a summer soaked in sweat. You were a hole right there, barefoot on the gravel track, and I'm just sending this letter to tell you don't look back. Just live that afternoon fully, right where you sit. This dark oak chair still holds the print of where you leaned, the mountain behind the valley, painted emerald green. She smiled at you, you smiled right back. That's all there was. just a moment that existed exactly as it was. Yesterday you said the quietest hours always bleed away first. I saved the quote in a memo on my screen, along with a record of small observations. The chipped green porcelain of the corner booth saucer, your thumb dragging moisture down a soda glass, the narrow alley where someone hung blue jeans to dry, and how your shoes sounded on wet asphalt after 6. I'm not looking for a reason or a sign. We're trying to rewrite the way the story ends. I just want to keep the evidence clean, that once upon a time we walked around that bend. There was a second where your shoulder brushed mine. There was an afternoon deep in the creek valley shade. You smiled at the glass of the rainy bus shelter, and nobody cared about the choices we made. We held hands tight on the slippery stones and watched our backs walk into the amber glow. There was a season where a moment like that lived. Another entry for the list I keep, the graduation flyer folded inside your coat, a red plastic straw bent twice at the joint, the way you laughed into your sleeve when the signal changed, your reflection grinning through the dirty car window, and the pine needle smell stuck to our wet socks. It is not about the love that stayed or left, or who remembered to write down the date. It is the simple fact that 4 p.m. arrived and we stood together beside the rusty gate. There was a second where your shoulder brushed mine. There was an afternoon deep in the creek valley shade. You smiled at the glass of the rainy bus shelter, and nobody cared about the choices we made. We held hands tight on the slippery stones and watched our backs walk into the amber glow. There was a season where a moment like that lived. Look at the shadow of your jacket on the tile. Look at the coffee stain shaped like a crescent moon. We were 19, sitting in a dim cafe, listening to a faint radio tune, without a single thought of what came next. Yesterday you said time wipes everything clear, but the moss on the rock was real. Your hand in mine was real. The sunset on the alley wall was real. There was a time when this happened. There was a time. Heavy ribbed cotton clung to shoulders after we splashed through the mountain stream. Your blue canvas sneakers sat dripping on moss while we split a warm soda and watched the steam. There was a narrow alley diner, where the bricks held the afternoon glow. You leaned your head back against the plaster, just catching your breath, moving slow. No one was talking about September, no one was counting down the days. We were just shadows on the concrete, caught in a golden, dusty haze. And there was a moment right there in the valley, when you looked across and flashed that sudden grin. Your hands were dripping water on the dashboard as the car rolled out, and the afternoon gave in. We didn't name it, we didn't hold it tight. It was just a scene from yesterday, living in the light. Two kids laughing through a roll-down window, knowing that an afternoon like that was real. Roughed and cuffs soaked through with water, hanging to dry on the wooden fence line. We found an old cafe with yellow curtains and spent 2 full hours on a single dime. You pulled at a loose thread along your sweater, smiling at nothing while the kettle hissed out on the corner. The bus stop shelter kept the rain off our shoes in the sudden mist. We didn't say that we would last forever, we didn't promise where we'd go. We just walked back down the quiet alley, with your fingers tucked into my elbow. And there was a moment right there in the valley, when you looked across and flashed that sudden grin. Your hands were dripping water on the dashboard as the car rolled out, and the afternoon gave in. We didn't name it, we didn't hold it tight. It was just a scene from yesterday, living in the light. 2 kids laughing through a roll-down window, knowing that an afternoon like that was real. The beach at dusk turned violet, purple. We watched our silhouettes stretch out long, walking side by side along the shoreline, without a single word to make it a song. It isn't about the way we ended, or how the winter took the sun. It's just the fact that on a Tuesday, that kind of summer was actually done. Soft woven sleeves dried in the evening, your back turned toward me, walking away. A simple smile through the glass at 6 o'clock. That's all that remains of yesterday. It really happened. That afternoon was real. "6:21 glows on the stove wall clock, and I imagine us decades away from here, sitting in quiet rooms with graying hair, watching the evening rain drop down the glass. We will recall how we stood at that yellow bus stop, under one plastic umbrella that leaked at the seam, water pooling inside our thin canvas canvas shoes without a single word about tomorrow. It won't be about whether we stayed or we parted, or if the promises held through the frost. It will just be the fact that the streetlight turned green and your shoulder touched mine in the mist. There was a Tuesday when you smiled at me, leaning your cheek on the wet car glass, drying your fingers on my jacket sleeve, watching the summer go slipping past. No big confessions, no tragic goodbye, just two young bodies caught out in the afternoon. Proof that a moment was gentle and real under the heavy humidity of June. I see myself 40 years down the road, setting down tea while the room grows dim, remembering the steep alley behind the old cafe where we shared a cold cup filled to the brim. Your fingers were sticky with crushed cherry ice, and you laughed till your forehead rested on my chest. We were just walking, just turning the bend, knowing that hour was simple and blessed. Not seeking a reason, not measuring time, not asking how long a sweet feeling could last. Just holding your palm as the shadows grew long, watching the street lamps come on fast. There was a Tuesday when you smiled at me, leaning your cheek on the wet car glass, drying your fingers on my jacket sleeve, watching the summer go slipping past. No big confessions, no tragic goodbye, just two young bodies caught out in the afternoon. Proof that a moment was gentle and real under the heavy humidity of June. When I am old and the years blur together, I won't retrace every mistake that we made. I will just remember your hand in my hand, and the quiet blue hue where the alleyways fade. We stood right there in the rain-softened world, two people breathing the very same air. 6:21 ticks as the future arrives. We were right there on that corner back then. You turned your head and you smiled at me. There was an afternoon just like that.